What the fuck is up, you glorious bastards? Welcome back to the Deep Dive. Today we're going deep into a card game that makes Russian roulette look like a goddamn tea party. We're talking about Mao, and yeah, just to warn you, this shit's gonna get weird. Luckily, I've got a bona fide expert on this mindfuckery sitting right here with me.
Hello. I think familiar is a better word than expert when it comes to this particular brand of madness.
That's reassuring. Okay, so for the poor souls out there who haven't had their sanity destroyed by this game, what the hell is Mao?
In the simplest terms, it's a shedding game. Like most card games, you want to get rid of all your cards first. The catch is you're not allowed to talk about the rules.
Wait, you're telling me there are rules, but you can't talk about them?
Yeah.
So how do you even play? Is it like some kind of fucked up charades with cards? Or are we all just making shit up as we go along?
The rules definitely exist. You just have to figure them out through observation, trial, and error. And let's be real, a shit ton of penalty cards.
Penalty cards. So you're getting punished for drinking rules you don't even know? Fuck, this sounds like my entire life in a nutshell. All right, spill the beans. What's the deal with these penalty cards?
Every time you break a rule, and trust me, you will, you get slapped with a penalty card. And here's the real kicker. The person who penalizes you has to tell you what you did wrong, but they can't explain the actual rule.
Holy shit, that's brutal. So I'm just supposed to sit there like a goddamn idiot trying to decipher this cryptic bullshit while some asshat keeps chucking penalty cards at me. This is less like a game and more like psychological torture.
It does tend to test your patience and your powers of observation and deduction. You really need to pay attention to every little detail, what cards people are playing when they play them, how they react. It's more about reading the room than reading a rule book.
Okay, I'm starting to understand the beauty of this disaster.
Right.
But can we get into some specifics? What kind of fucked up rules are we talking about here?
Well, the specifics can vary wildly depending on who you're playing with. Every group has their own little quirks and variations. But there are some classic rules you'll see pretty often. Eights might reverse the order of play aces, might let you skip the next player. Jacks might be wild cards, and some versions you might have to announce when you play a spade.
Hold on, didn't you say talking was a big no-no in this game? And now you're telling me I have to announce spades? What the hell is going on?
Yes, the glorious paradox of Mao. You can't talk about the rules, but some of the rules require you to talk. And if you say the wrong thing or talk when you shouldn't, bam, penalty card.
My brain hurts. So besides the spade situation, what other verbal booby traps should I be aware of?
Well, in some versions of Mao, you have to say thank you every time you receive a penalty card. You forget, bam, another penalty card. And then there's the rule where you have to announce when you're down to your last card.
Let's say I'm about to win, I'm feeling like a goddamn genius, and I forget to announce my last card. What happens? Do I just explode?
Not quite, but you'll definitely get hit with the penalty card. And depending on the rules, you might keep getting penalized until you remember to announce it. And of course, the grand finale, when you play that last card, you have to shout, Mao, to declare your victory.
You're kidding me. Imagine choking at the finish line like that. That's rough. But you know what? It's kind of brilliant in a sadistic way.
It definitely keeps you on your toes. But remember, we've only scratched the surface here. We haven't even gotten to the truly insane shit yet, the Dutch Mao variation.
Wait, there's more. There's even more craziness on top of this already bonkers rule system.
Oh, yeah. Imagine a version of the game where each player gets to make up their own rule at the beginning. That's Dutch Mao.
You're shitting me. Everyone makes up their own rules. That's a recipe for disaster. I can already see the arguments, the flying cards, the potential for some good old-fashioned fistfights.
It can get a bit lively, but for some people, that's the appeal. It's unpredictable, the rules are constantly shifting. It's beautifully absurd.
Okay, I'm officially terrified. I'm starting to think this game was designed by a group of psychopaths who really, really hated their friends. So we've got penalty cards for breaking rules we don't know, talking rules, silent rules, and now personalized rules. Fuck, my brain is melting.
Well, we haven't even touched on the point of order yet.
Point of order. Oh, God, what fresh hell is this?
It's kind of like a ceasefire in this whole card-throwing war zone. Any player can call a point of order, and then everyone has to put down their cards and, actually talk for a second.
Wait, talk? I thought talking about the rules was a one-way ticket to Penalty City.
You can discuss the rules, just not directly. It's like trying to describe a color to a blind person.
So what's the point? Are we just supposed to sit there and stare at each other awkwardly?
It's more about clarifying stuff. You know, settling disputes or maybe just taking a break from all the mental torture. Gotta protect your sanity somehow, right? Maybe you need to figure out what the hell you did to get that last penalty card. Or maybe you just need a minute to chug a beer and question your life choices.
Okay, so it's like a timeout for your brain. But wait a minute. You said there are rules for the point of order too, right? Don't tell me there are penalty cards for taking a goddamn timeout.
Oh, absolutely. You better believe there are. For example, in some versions, you can get penalized for touching your cards during a point of order, or for saying certain phrases.
This game is insane. It's like it's actively trying to break you.
There's a certain beauty to the chaos, though, wouldn't you say?
You know what? I think you're right. It's like performance art disguised as a card game.
Mao is a testament to human ingenuity, our boundless capacity for creating beauty and absolute chaos. And remember, we've only scratched the surface here. We've got rules about saying thank you, rules about announcing your last card, rules about yelling Mao at the end. It's like a never-ending carnival of bizarre rituals and unspoken commandments.
Don't forget about those lovely folks who came up with Dutch Mao, the ones who decided to add their own special brand of insanity to the rule pile. I'm starting to think this whole thing is less about cards and more about social engineering, like throwing a bunch of unsuspecting victims into a chaotic situation and seeing who cracks first.
It's a social experiment in a way, a test of your ability to adapt and think on your feet, and maybe even your sanity.
You know what? I actually feel kind of bad for anyone who walks into a game of Mao without knowing what they're getting themselves into. It's like skipping happily into a bear trap.
It can be a trial by fire, that's for sure. But there's also a weird kind of camaraderie that forms among the players. You're all in this fucked up situation together, trying to make sense of this minefield of rules. It's a bonding experience forged in the flames of penalty cards and silent curses.
Okay, you've convinced me I have to try this game. Where do I sign up for this psychological torture?
There's no official Mao headquarters or anything. It's more like a secret society passed down from one generation of twisted minds to the next. You might stumble across a game at a party, or maybe you'll be the one to initiate some poor souls into this beautiful mess.
Challenge accepted. I'm going to find the most gullible people I know and unleash the fury of Mao upon them. But before we do that, any last words of wisdom from the Mao Master?
Just remember, observation is key. Pay attention to everything, the cards, the words, the facial expressions, the desperate prayers under people's breath. And don't be afraid to experiment. The more you play, the more you'll start to understand the code of this beautiful, twisted game.
All right, you degenerates. We've taken you deep into the heart of Mao madness. We've explored the unspoken rules, the penalty cards, the bizarre rituals, and the mind-bending world of Dutch Mao. Now it's your turn. Go forth and play. But be warned, this game is not for the weak.
Remember what we've talked about. Observe, deduce, adapt. And above all, don't talk about the fucking rules. Unless it's a point of order, of course.
Right. And if you stumble upon any particularly brilliant or devious rules, send them our way. We're always looking for a good dose of mental anguish. I mean, entertainment. Until next time, stay curious, stay twisted, and stay the fuck away from anyone who invites you to a friendly game of Mao.
Consider yourselves warned.
We're back, you magnificent bastards. Still with us after that mindfuck of a deep dive into Mao. Good, because now we're going to the deepest, darkest corners of this game, Dutch Mao, where you get to play God and invent your own rules. So tell me, expert, how the hell does that work? Do we just pull rules out of our asses, or is there some method to this madness?
Well, there's no official rule book for creating rules. This is Mao, remember? But most people tend to come up with rules that fall into certain categories, you know, adding another layer of chaos and mind games to the already existing shit show.
Give me some examples, a wise one. I need to see how deep this rabbit hole goes.
Okay, imagine this. Every time someone plays a red card, they have to stand up and do a little dance.
Okay, I'm listening.
Or, how about this? Every time a 7 is played, everyone has to switch hands with the person next to them.
Okay, that's actually pretty hilarious.
Yeah.
I can see how this could get out of control real quick. So basically, any random action, any stupid ritual, any bizarre phrase you can think of can be turned into a rule. The possibilities are endless.
Exactly. And that's what makes Dutch Mao so much fun. You're not just playing the game, you're shaping it, you're manipulating it. It's like being a puppet master, but instead of puppets, you're controlling the minds of your friends.
Damn, this is getting deep. It's like Mao isn't just a card game. It's a commentary on the nature of power control and the human desire to make other people's lives a living hell.
You're not wrong. There's a certain philosophical depth to it, if you're willing to look for it.
I'm starting to feel sorry for all those folks who think Mao is just a silly drinking game. They have no idea what they're missing out on. This is like a masterclass in social engineering disguised as a deck of cards.
Well, maybe after listening to this deep dive, they'll be brave enough to give it a shot. Just make sure they're prepared for the psychological consequences.
We should probably slap a warning label on this episode. Listener discretion advised. This episode may cause severe mental distress, uncontrollable laughter, and a sudden urge to play a very, very messed up card game.
Sounds about right. But seriously, Mao is a game that rewards creativity, a willingness to experiment, and a healthy sense of humor. It's not for the faint of heart, but if you're looking for a game that will challenge you in ways you never thought possible, Mao is the answer.
All right, you glorious degenerates, we've taken you to the depths of Mao madness. We've explored the unspoken rules, the penalty cards, the bizarre rituals, and the mind-bending world of Dutch Mao. Now it's your turn. Go forth and play. But be warned, this game is not for the weak-willed.
Remember what we've learned. Observe, deduce, adapt. And above all, don't talk about the fucking rules. Unless it's a point of order, of course.
And if you come up with any particularly brilliant or devious rules, be sure to share them with us. We're always hungry for more Mao mayhem. Until next time, stay curious, stay twisted, and stay the fuck away from anyone who invites you to a friendly game of Mao.
You've been warned.